The Ark, Tebah. We use the Alef-Tav-Star-Map to visit some dates around the start of the flood. Before we explore more dates, the narrative in Genesis has quite a bit of detail describing the Ark itself. Does this Alef-Tav-Star-Map include these details about the Ark? It is best to first read the narrative. Genesis 6 reads, "And God said to Noah, The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood, and make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside and outside with pitch. And this is how you shall make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. And you shall make a window for the ark, and you shall finish it a cubit from above, and set the door in the ark in its side. And you shall make it with lower, second, and third decks. And behold, I myself am bringing flood waters on the earth, to destroy from under heaven all flesh in which is the breath of life. Everything that is on the earth shall die. But I will establish my covenant with you. You shall go into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, your sons' wives with you, and every living thing of all flesh you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female, of the birds after their kind, of the animals after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after its kind. 2 of every kind will come to you to keep them alive. And you shall take for yourself of all the food that is eaten, and you shall gather it to yourself, and it shall be food for you and for them." In chapter 7 we read, "Then the Lord said to Noah, Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. You shall take with you 7 of each clean animal, male and its female, 2 each of the animals that are unclean, male and its female, also 7 of each of the birds of the air, male and female, to keep the species alive on the face of the earth. For after 7 more days I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy from the face of the earth all living things that I have made." Both sections end with a similar phrase, "And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him." Before we proceed with the ark itself, I want to remind you that this star chart has been reconstructed from an ancient Dead Sea Scroll alphabet. Just as the scrolls are worn and torn, so too this decoding attempt is at best just a rough estimate of the original. There seems to be just enough preserved to provide us with a glimpse of the time and space being described. Focus our attention now to the Hebrew letters that are seen in the east. Genesis 7 reads, "The flood came upon the earth for 40 days, and the water increased and lifted up the ark, so that it arose above the earth." The Hebrew word for ark is Tebah, and is prefixed with Alef-Tav in 6:14 and 7:17. The Alef-Tav prefix may be hinting that there is something to be seen in the alphabet map of the stars. Let us hide all the letters on the Alef-Tav-Star-Map except the letters that spell out Tebah. With the letters hidden, it is easier to see. On the date of the start of the rains, the Tebah constellations are in the east. Did you happen to notice the letters of the arc on the map are on top of the blue band of stars? Those that have their minds confused with Greek mythology would incorrectly believe that the ark is floating on a Milky Way of galactic breast milk. However, recall the band of blue stars may have in the past been compared to water or rains, which makes more sense in the context of this narrative. Then the narrative speaks of 40 days. What is to be observed if we advance the days on our Alef-Tav-Star-Map? If you have a keen eye, then you would see the letters that spell out Tebah rising up off the horizon line where the earth meets the sky, in a sense floating on the band of blue stars. Now, let's turn our view from the arc in the east and look west to the central red portion of the band of stars. We will use the mountains of Ararat as both a vertical and horizontal marker while we count 40 days. As noted earlier, we pass the fall equinox, so the days are getting shorter. This means as we advance the 40 days, we will also adjust the minutes in order to see when the Milky Way first appears after sunset. These two peaks are our markers. It takes about 40 days for this red portion to sink. Next, the right, then the left edges of the band of stars can be marked on the horizon over the course of 40 days. Lastly, one important event happens at the end of the 40 days. Against the backdrop of the stars, Mercury starts to move backwards. This is referred to as Mercury's apparent retrograde motion, which happens in the constellation letter Ayin. Ayin means eye in Hebrew, or it can also mean fountain. We will revisit this event in a moment. Let's see if there are more details in the narrative. The word ark in Brown Driver Briggs' lexicon describes the Tebah as a chest or box. Pretend for a moment that you are a translator, and you have been asked to translate the Hebrew word Tebah into English. Here are your options, which you have come up with. You could call it Noah's chest. Well, in English, this could be a bit punny, as chest has two meanings. The next idea you come up with is Noah's box. Well, that doesn't sound very epic. It turns out the English scholar decided it would be best not to translate the Hebrew word Tebah into English. Instead, he replaced it with a Latin word for chest, which is arca. So we are stuck with this epic-sounding Noah's Arca. Not so well translated for us English-speaking folk. Now, let's consider Tebah as a chest, which leads us to ask the question, what does this chest contain? On surface level, this chest contains animals, people, and other carpentry details like doors and windows. If you recall, when we put the constellation letters up that spell out Tebah, that we had to delete letters in between. What were those deleted letters in between the Tav, Bet, and He? In this context of deciphering an ancient Paleo Hebrew Alef-Tav-Star chart, it may be worth our time to investigate the letters contained within the word Tebah. In Hebrew, each letter name is often the name of an animal or a thing. There are a few with keen minds that may have experience with the meanings and origins of these symbols. Here is a set of letters that we will be attempting to decrypt, both the symbols and their meanings. Tav means sign or mark. Aleph means ox or learning. Bet means house. Gimel means camel. Dalet means door. And He means window or vent. Some of you with sharp minds may already start to decrypt some of the details that we are about to investigate. This next section will be a small detour around following dates in the narrative.